I'm sure most of you are seeing the ongoing campaign in the US about scrapping and dismantling of United States Agency for International Development, USAID. I think this is one of the very good news for Africa, because USAID is actually a weapon of unconventional warfare that is being conducted by United States Operations Forces, Special Operations Forces, that carry out unconventional method of psychological manipulation and also support for insurgency and irregular warfare against African states. Most of those terrorists you see having a sway in our lands, especially ISWAP, Islamic State in West Africa Province, Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, Jenin, Boko Haram, and so many other operations that is taking place in Africa today are sponsored by the same USAID. But they mask behind being an NGO, supporting healthcare, women's reproductive operations, and some other educational endowments. But in reality, their principal plan is to destabilize, disorganize, disorient, and scatter our societies for the continuous exploitations of their own agenda. That is why I love Donald Trump from the beginning, because he came, despite the fact that he is an identitarian, ultranationalist, don't believe any country is a country except his own. It is not a bad deal for us in Africa, because it's telling us that we cannot actually develop our own countries until we come back home, until we take our country first, until we pay attention to the development of our people first, until we pay attention to our own welfare and our own development in our own ways and our terms. That is what Donald Trump is saying. So what can be better than this? The fact that USAID is facing a massive onslaught, from the United States leadership, I think is a very good thing. It has provided an unimaginable opportunity for us in Africa to recalibrate our priorities back home, to begin to look at what we need to do to develop our country ourselves, and to also pay attention to electing leaders that are genuine, that are compassionate, that are passionate about African development, that care about the growth and development of our societies, and that pay attention to our internal security, peace, and prosperity. No longer leaders that will be promoted by some covert CIA operations that will be running our countries, in the name of trying to serve the puppet masters. And that is why I think it's a very positive news for Africans. All these ICE operations that is banking on deporting Africans back home, it is a good thing, because these are talents that learn African culture, tradition, study in African universities, become graduates, highly intelligent, and they went there into their countries and are developing the economies of those countries, even to the detriment of our countries.